Please be advised that this video is for the sole purpose of entertainment. Any views are purely my own, are subjective and may not necessarily be true. I do, however, do extensive research for all of my videos. All photos have been found on the public domain. I am using them under the fair use and fair dealing guidelines. I urge everybody to do their own research. Well, hello, it's Murky Meg here. It's Saturday the 11th of April and happy Easter everybody. Yesterday was Good Friday and tomorrow is Easter Sunday, but of course we're all in lockdown so we can't really do anything anyway. So today's video got me thinking about the situation over in LA. Now I read an Express article yesterday that said Meghan Markle heartbreak, Duchess is distraught as coronavirus ruins LA move plans. I've got a couple of issues with this one, and here's big one. She has no right to be heartbroken because she can't launch a charity, because her move has been deemed unimportant, because there's far more things going on in the world apart from Meghan Markle. To say that she's heartbroken because her plans have been disruptive is downright offensive in my personal opinion. People are dying because you can't get your foundation up and running. You say that you're heartbroken. Grow up, wear your big pants and get on with it. Why not do something to help? There's an idea. But here is the problem. She dropped acting to become a royal family member. She couldn't hack the royal family live, and now she wants to go back to LA. Well, she's back in LA, but things are not as simple as they seem. Things have gotten in her way, and she doesn't like this. Again, narcissists always want to be in control, and this is something that she has no control of. There is no time limit to this lockdown. There is nothing that states to her, we can push this forward at this particular time. It's all up in the air, and I bet that is driving her absolutely crazy. A narcissist's need for adoration and ambition and success hold no bounds. They have to be the best at everything. I think that she wanted to launch this charity and have it like a massive takedown for the royal family, as if to say, look at me, look, I don't need you, I'm successful. It's not going to work out that way, because after all of this, the world's going to be very, very different. And I don't think the likes of her shallow behaviour will be tolerated in so much as it would have been prior to this. I think, as far as I can see, this whole Archwell Foundation seems like a very rushed job, because Sussex Royal Instagram obviously planned to continue on after the 1st of April, because they had the whole, we're going to keep you informed on the right news that you should be looking at, the things that you should be doing, and the good news stories that you should be focusing on. Well, that all stopped because I think the royal family said, no, you can't do it. That belongs to us. You cannot have Sussex Royal anymore because you are no longer a royal. They own the rights, I do believe. However, that then leaves a gaping hole. They can't post on Sussex Royal Instagram account, so therefore they kind of hatched this plan for Archwell Foundation. It seems rushed because, one, they haven't got the domain names, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later on. Everybody's been having a great laugh with regards to people snapping up derivatives of domain names with Archwell Foundation, Archwell Charity, and the results have been hilarious. Not only did they not snap up the majority of the domain names, they didn't snap up Instagram either. So people have grabbed those handles. Now, a lot of people are saying that this particular Instagram account is their new one for Archwell Foundation. Fortunately, it is not, because it is a fan account. The reason how I know this was this is exactly how it used to look before people cottoned on. Now, it actually says the Global Foundation of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. That's not their real titles. You know, Harry is also the Duke of Sussex, but how come Meghan gets put there, the Duchess of Sussex? However, that's been changed to make it look like it's the new Archwell Foundation. It isn't, it's just the fans. Now, she's got form before this. Prior to Sussex Royal being opened a year ago, a gentleman who was a football fan had Sussex Royal handle on both Instagram and on Twitter. They were able to take that Instagram account away from him. He didn't have any say in it. He just couldn't log in one day. They went directly to Instagram and they asked for Sussex Royal Instagram gave them, but they received a lot of flack for that. Now it seems they want to get their followers. That's not going to happen either. So a lot of Archwell derivatives on both Instagram and the domains are all being snatched up, which means that they can't have them. So this is a clear indication of that it was a rushed job. They didn't do the due diligence, so therefore everybody knew about the name before they could capture what they needed to push the foundation forward social media wise. And they needed to push the foundation forward and announce it because the Telegraph were going to do an article about the trademarks. They have every right to do that. They are journalists. This is their job. Their job is to report on what people are doing. The Sugars are screaming because they say it's an invasion of privacy, blah, blah, blah. These are public records. What do you expect journalists to do? Now, Harry and Meghan are hot topic at the moment. Everybody wants to know what they are doing. Be it whether it's rubbernecking kind of in a macabre, oh my God, what are they doing kind of way, or they're rabid fans, oh my God, yay, what are they doing? I'm so excited. Two polar opposites. But ultimately, everybody wants to read the article. Everybody wants to comment on it. Everybody wants to give their opinions. That leads to money. And ultimately, newspapers, the media, the magazines, they're all a business at the end of the day. If they're gonna write a story and it's gonna sell, they're gonna publish it. So saying that they were snooping around the trademarks, no, they were just doing their job. And there is another problem with this. Under the royal family umbrella, they would have been relatively protected about what can and can't be published. They're not under that umbrella anymore. Yes, they're still part of the royal family, but they're not active members, so they won't be under that protection of them batting away unwanted articles. Things will always go to the palace first and then they will be released. Harry and Meghan no longer have that. So all's fair in love and war when journalism comes to play. They're an even bigger commodity where the press are concerned. But I don't think Harry and Meghan actually understand that at all. Again, with Meghan, there's no such thing as bad publicity. In her mind, it's getting her in the papers, whether it good, whether it bad. You know, she is a narcissist. Attention is attention at the end of the day. If they'd have stayed in Canada, because they had this whole, we want privacy, we want to raise our child, very as a private citizen aspect, I think everybody would have respected that and gone, fair play to you. You said you wanted that life, you know, they'd have applauded them. But that's not what they did, was it? They moved straight to LA. And it just shows exactly how thirsty and shallow Meghan is. They left Canada before the borders got shut, be it just before or just after, nobody really knows and nobody's ever going to know, I don't think. But they went to the most thirstiest of cities on the whole planet. This is Meghan's town. It's where she grew up. It's all she knows. And that's ultimately where she wanted to be. At the end of the day, she got what she wanted. She got the fame, the glory, the title, and the money. And now she's gone back home to roost. Bravo, Meghan, well played. Unfortunately, I don't think your plans are going to pan out because the world is now changed. I think I'm past the point of actually feeling sorry for Harry anymore. He's gone along with all of this since day one. He's allowed it to happen. He succumbed and submitted to her whims. What Meghan wants, Meghan gets at the end of the day. That's what Harry said right before the wedding about a tiara. What Meghan wants, Meghan gets. Clearly, that's all he's able to give her. Do you think he's still loved up and smitten, or do you think the resentment and regret are starting to creep in yet? But, you know, when the lockdown is lifted, they're going to be out and about in LA and the paps are frigging everywhere. And Harry was relatively protected within the royal family. You just have to look exactly what happened in Vegas when he was a little bit younger. A lot more went down than we even know about. NDAs were signed, people were silenced, and it was all brushed under the carpet. They are no longer under that umbrella. They are no longer have that thing to lean on. They make a mess, they're going to have to clear it up by themselves. I just can't get over why LA for Harry I know for Meghan why she'd be there, but for Harry, he claims that he's got PTSD with all the clicks and the clacks and the flashes and the goodness knows what. He's going to be triggered so much because they will be hounded. So right now, he's isolated in LA from his family, from his friends, from his support system. Everything has been yanked out from underneath him. His whole identity is her. He's now Meghan's ex-royal husband. That's all he will really ever be, I believe. And you've just got to look at his situation. He's never been really known as the brightest spark. And quite a lot of his patronages and his charities would have been propped up by a foolproof team behind them for board members, trustees, CEOs. There would be a lot of people running that, and Harry is just purely the face of it. Yes, he'd probably have an idea or two of where he'd like it to go, but ultimately he has never run a company. He's never run a foundation. He's just purely the figurehead for it. He doesn't have any qualifications to run a foundation, and neither does she actually. It's just so bizarre that they are pushing this forward at this particular time. But then again, it's all for the attention, isn't it? She cannot stand not being talked about. And even now, news is coming out that she wants to do a tell-all interview. Oprah apparently is tipped to be the one, which makes sense because of Apple TV and Harry doing his whole thing with Oprah. But it's £1 million is what's going to be offered. And it really doesn't sit well with me because she's fleecing the royal family once again. And I think this is a tactic to get even more of what she wants. Problem is that she lacks foresight. If this interview goes ahead, she needs to be extremely careful what she or they say. I don't know whether it's for her or them, her and him. I suspect it will only be her. I don't think Harry will do it. I think it will only be Meghan. She needs to be very, very careful what she says because they are still on that 12-month probation. Because let's face it, that's what it is, isn't it? It's a 12-month probation. If they can behave themselves, then they can have another 12 months or 2 years. If they don't, then that's a different matter altogether, isn't it? They will have to address this whole of the titles not being in use but still being there, kind of suspended, but they still have them. If you really tick the family off, the royal family off, they will yank everything from you. And then what will they actually be? She or they don't seem to understand that if you diss the people that hold the purse strings, things will get taken away and things will get ugly. Let's say you're employed by a big company and you go on a secondment. You're still employed at your original position, but you're working somewhere else in a different department within the company. Now, you're there and you start really laying into your old boss. Do you think that boss is not going to hear about it? Do you think that looks bad on you or do you think that looks good on you? I know which one is right. You are still under the umbrella. Even though you are out on your own, but you're still linked intrinsically to the firm because they're the ones that pay your wages, aren't they? It doesn't make any sense and it doesn't look good, or it won't look good if she does this interview and says anything negative about the royal family, about the British press, about the British people, because I think that's exactly their three-pronged tactic. I don't think they'll diss the royal family. I think they know where their bread is buttered. I think it will be an attack on the press and it will be an attack on the people. But whatever gets said, we know that it will be a huge dollop of victimhood. I think if she throws swords at the press, that will just make them dig even harder. She has a lot of skeletons in her cupboard. I'm sure they'll really, really go to town on that one. And as for the people, well, we welcomed her, didn't we? We gave her a £34 million wedding. The streets were lined with people. Cheers, claps, hurrahs. It was epic. What more does the woman want? She was given an unlimited allowance for clothes, paid for by us. It was an open checkbook. They got given a multi-million pound property, renovated again by us, and also the fixtures and fittings were paid for by good old Daddy Charles. Endless amounts of people welcomed her, but that was not good enough, was it? Because she wasn't top dog. She could never be top dog, and I think this is where the problem lied with her. She thought she'd come in, shake up the monarchy, be the one that changed it, to rejuvenise it, to modernise it, to make it bigger, better. That didn't happen because it doesn't work like that way, does it? Ultimately, top dog, Queen, then Charles, then William. You ain't going nowhere near that throne, love. So as it stands at the moment, they're in LA trying to set up this new foundation, but can't. If Harry hadn't have been so pig-headed and obnoxious, I'd have felt sorry for him. But he's made his bed and he really has to lie in it now, to be perfectly honest. Do you think the resentment stage has started to sink in yet? Because ultimately that's what's going to happen, because he's been yanked away from everything that he knows. His whole identity is gone. The resentment will sink in at some point. Do you think he's there yet, or do you think he's still in that complete love bomb narc spell where Meghan is his world and Archie is his world? Do you think he's waking up to the fact that he's so isolated from everything that he knew and loved? And how do you think that's going to make him feel when he does finally wake up? And here's a question for you. If he does wake up and his eyes are open to exactly what's going on, will he stay for the sake of the child? I'm going to end today's video on the hilariousness that is the pranks of the domains. The domains have been snapped up and some hilarious things have been happening. I touched slightly on my previous video, I believe, or I'll put it in my community post, I can't quite remember. So we've had various domains redirected to various places. First of all, it was Kanye West Gold Digger. Beautiful, fantastic prank. Then we had Money for Nothing Dire Straits, which again, pretty apt. We had one of them direct us to the recent Queen's speech. Very interesting indeed. And then we had another one, Flying Lizards, Money, That's What You Want. My personal favourite is it redirecting you to a page that is the same blue as their Instagram, their iconic blue and white writing, with white writing, and it says, "We will surrender this domain upon the immediate and safe return of Prince Henry Charles Albert David, Duke of Sussex, to Her Majesty's United Kingdom, Buckingham Palace, Westminster, London, SW, 1A, 1AA, United Kingdom." I think this sums up the general consensus of everything that is going on right now with regards to Harry and Meghan. They are a laughing stock. Can you really build a foundation if you are a worldwide joke? So please let me know your thoughts on today's video. What do you think of Meghan being heartbroken because she can't build her charity? Please. Move on. What do you think of the rumour that she's going to do a tell-all interview? Yes, we've had that rumour before, but I think at the moment we're closer than ever for that to become a reality, because they need the money, don't they? And finally, please tell me, how do you feel about these hilarious pranks? I do have a domain name myself. I snapped one up. I'm waiting. I'm biding my time. And I'm trying to think of a suitable thing to do, or I might just sit on it. Don't know. I won't tell you what it's called yet because I don't really want to identify myself in that way. Anyway, as always, let me know what you think about today's video and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.